It's time for Westchester Now. Our county, our events, our history, our people. Westchester Now on AM 1230 WFAS.
And we are back with Westchester Now on WFAS. And in our studio, back by popular demand, we have the local R&B/soul/rockin' group SouldAgain. Hey guys, how are you?
How you doing?
All right, thanks.
And why don't we go around the room? Who do we have in our studio?
Ted Blechter, played drums.
The percussion.
Yep. Len Talevi, tenor sax.
Ed Fursey, tenor sax.
And Paul Curran.
Well, you kind of look like Phil a little bit.
Oh, here we go.
You did it.
I thought I'd show up in person.
Yeah. Well, it's great having you guys here. You guys must be busy with your schedule, huh? Do you guys do a lot of gigs in early summer?
Well, this is a hectic time for us. The beginning of the summer is always a great time to have some music. So we're playing at a couple of dates. Ted, do you have the dates?
Actually,
I sent him to Jim, but
Yeah.
we're playing this Saturday at Halstead's Bar and Grill.
Right.
Playing
That's
next,
in Harrison.
In Harrison.
Yeah.
We're playing on Thursday at Cafe Mozart in Mamaroneck Avenue.
I'm going to be there for that one because I live over there.
Oh,
so,
terrific.
Yeah.
And then
nice.
that Saturday, we're up at a place called Fulgham's
Fulgham's in
Montrose.
Montrose.
Yeah. Very
and
cool.
then the following Saturday, we're at Cafe
Chat 19.
Chat 19 in Larchmont.
Yeah, they have great drinks there. Great food.
And I think we're
and
really
great music.
Yeah, nice
really
restaurant
fortunate to
all the
live
way
in
around.
Westchester, where they have so many places that really support bands, and you can go and hear live music, and I think that's just terrific.
Yeah. Do you guys like tight quarters, or do you like places that have dance floors, or do you like the because you're a big band. You're a lot
We're
of
a big band.
Yeah.
Ideally, we'd like more room.
More room. Yes.
But that's not always the case.
But funny enough, I actually like it tight
Do you
quarters as
really?
a
Yeah.
singer, yeah, just to get more intimate with the audience.
Yeah, they say, I've heard that even with some folks that we sort of aspire to, like Mick Jagger and some of the bands from the '60s that Bruce Springsteen, even he enjoyed playing in a small pub sometimes, and George Thorogood is another
Right,
guy that
exactly.
comes to mind. So you feel that way too?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get out there and dance with them, and
Oh, that's
Well,
fun.
what happens actually is that
That's fun.
since some of the places are medium size, when a lot of people come to hear the band, the places say, "Hey, this is great. We could bring in more tables and have more, sell more drinks or whatever." Problem is, they take them off the dance floor. So often when we play, there is no dance floor. So people are dancing in the aisles. The waitresses are dancing. People
that's
are
great.
dancing, in the bar area.
Right.
So Paul does really a great job getting people up, but we have to find a place, a space for them to dance.
Yeah, right. Now, do you what songs do you like, Paul?
oh yeah, I really enjoy the Wilson Pickett songs, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Land of a Thousand Dances. It's such a fun song. You can just.
Right.
And I'm not trying to copy Wilson Pickett, but you can just have so much fun with that,
Yeah.
I feel all right,
Right,
that kind of stuff he does.
Right.
And,
Mustang Sally is a
yeah,
great one.
and I love the James Brown stuff too, just, real performers.
Yeah, right. A lot of soul
every
behind
sense
it.
of
He
the word.
also does extremely well on ballads with like Otis Redding.
No
Does a
kidding.
Really nice job with him.
Yeah, he's outstanding. In fact, he's going to
All right.
do my daughter's song at the wedding. That's how strong
Wow.
my love is, and he just does it tremendously. And that's an Otis Redding song that it's fabulous. So thank you,
that's-
Paul, for doing
Oh,
that.
I've got some
Great,
fans right
Paul.
here.
Yeah, man.
Actually, it's funny you say that. Otis is the most intimidating for me, to just personally. It's something about that guy, I mean, just dripping with soul, that voice, and he did all that worrying, right, as Ted told me about.
Yeah.
That's amazing sort of, just the emotion. It's to try and capture that on the spot is,
Major portion of his
Yeah.
singing was emotion, and that's something that has to come from within. You just can't
Yeah.
manufacture it on your own. You either feel it or you don't.
Do you think simplicity is huge when it comes to like R&B music, or keeping things simple? Especially, I think as a band, instrumentally, you can take it certain directions with tangents.
Most of the R&B music that we play and that we've followed most of our lives is really not. It's not complicated in its arrangement or in its structure, and the driving force is the beat behind it. And I think that's what attracts us to that type of music. It's forceful, but it's simplistic in its design. and it speaks to everybody.
That's right. And I think
Quite a
one of the
bit.
greatest compliments is when people come up to you and say, wow, you guys are really tight.
Yes, sure.
That means that they know that we're hitting every note just where it's supposed to be. And that's
Yeah.
great. And especially when you have Paul singing and just
Right.
carrying the show that way. That makes us feel great.
Well, Len, I thought Ted was the driving force behind the beat.
Oh, yeah, he is the
Let's
driving
give
force.
credit
He's the
where
beat.
credit's due, right? You know?
Absolutely.
The whole rhythm section is.
Yeah, that's great.
But the horns, to my opinion is, I think what really sells this band is the fact that we do present it the way those bands were, with one singer up front
Right.
and a horn section. 4
Yeah.
horns. I mean, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's very tight and it sounds incredible.
It's amazing that a guy like Wilson Pickett, if I'm not mistaken, he died young. Am I right about that? Am I thinking of the
He
right
died
guy?
Oh, you're thinking of the Sweet Soul Music, maybe, that guy.
Arthur Connolly
Arthur
did.
Connolly.
He died young.
Yeah.
It's amazing how these guys had
They
such
all
an
died young.
influence.
Otis died young too.
Otis,
of course.
Yes,
Otis
right.
is
Yeah. So, but what did you add any new songs to your repertoire?
Oh yeah, we've got four or five new ones, right?
Fun to
Some
play?
great ones. Hey, why don't you just rattle them off?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm having real fun with Sweet Soul Music right now,
Nice.
the Arthur Connolly classic.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good
just,
stuff.
yeah, and the way they call out, it's co-written with Otis, and of course they're calling out other artists in there. It's such a cool song to sort of self-aware of
Right.
itself.
Once again, a simplistic song in its design, but
Oh,
Right,
it really drives.
right. Now,
that's
the,
one.
the Halstead Bar and Grill, they have a room in the back, right? Is that where you guys
That's
play?
right.
Or?
Right.
Yes, in the
And
big room
And that's on June 6th, so that's
this
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Tonight.
That's terrific.
So, but
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock at Halstead's Bar and Grill in Harrison.
Right.
And I'm sorry, you were going to mention some other songs you had.
So Lenny mentioned earlier, That's How Strong My Love Is. We're working on that. It's coming out. That's
Uh-huh.
coming out beautiful.
Yeah,
And
Sounds really nice.
Add another James Brown song.
Oh, really?
I'll Go Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, different rhythm on that, right?
Yes.
Just
Little
to
bit,
kind of
yeah.
mix it up.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Shuffle, right? Is that?
Oh, and then of
Little bit.
course, I just heard it was the number 2 all-time song in rock and roll history. Any idea?
Number 2 song in rock and roll history?
Yep.
Jumpin' Jack Flash by the Stones?
Close.
Oh, you got the right
That's
band.
the right band,
really?
right.
Okay, you got the Stones, but it's Satisfaction.
Oh, no kidding.
Okay,
Yeah.
or how does Otis say it?
Satisfaction.
Oh,
He heard the song twice before they recorded it.
oh, that's hysterical.
So we do his version of it, and this is the tremendous version with horns, and it's really a lot of fun. And when
Oh, that's
people
cool.
hear that, I have no doubt they're going to be jumping in the aisles for that one.
What do you guys open up your show with? What song?
2075 is usually our opening tune.
It's
We
an
do a little
instrumental.
R&B
yeah.
instrumental.
Just to get your sounds probably
Right.
a minute or two.
It helps
so.
us balance our sound the
Exactly,
very
yeah.
first
Yeah.
tune that
Yeah.
we do.
I'll usually do a thank you for everyone for coming out.
Yeah.
And, we'll do an instrumental, and then we call up our singer who actually came from across the pond, Paul.
Yeah, because I'm doing my push-ups in the bathroom just to get all pumped.
No, he comes in during that song or at the end of the song?
At
you
the end,
segue
we
into
call
his-
him up because
introduce him.
Just bound on, you know.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We're here with the local R&B group SouldAgain, who their upcoming date is June 6th at the Halstead Bar and Grill in Harrison. And we will find out more about what's in their repertoire when we return on Westchester Now on WFAS.
It's time for Westchester Now. Our county, our events, our history, our people. Westchester Now on AM 1230 WFAS.
And we are back with Westchester Now, and in our studio, back by popular demand, is the local R&B group SouldAgain. And you guys are local, huh? Where did you all grow up?
Well, the 3 of us here grew up in Mamaroneck. Went to
Okay.
Rhinebeck High School.
Rhinebeck High School, yeah.
Yep, so we're a product of the 60s.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, we're the old guys in the band. Although the bass player is actually older, but he's from Pelham.
We don't say old, we say experienced.
There you go.
Or chronologically gifted.
Sounds much better. Makes me feel better.
Right, you know.
And I grew up in a little town you might have heard of called London.
Did
It's
you?
in, yeah, in the United
Ontario.
Kingdom.
Oh, very cool.
And yeah, just growing up with the Stones most. You know, most
Yeah.
people kind of follow either the Beatles or the Stones. I
Yeah.
kind of just grew up with the Stones. Didn't
Yeah.
really, not that I didn't hear about the Beatles,
Yeah.
but I
Right,
just didn't
right.
focus on them. And
Yeah.
so leaning to more the blues stuff.
Yeah. Did you ever go to the Marquee in London?
Yeah,
to see a
I did
gig?
actually. I did.
Yeah.
I can't remember who I saw there.
I
Probably
saw-
John Waite. Can you believe that?
Really?
Remember that guy?
Wow.
Wow.
Oh my
He
gosh.
played there.
Yeah.
It's the 70s, yeah.
That's cool. Well, growing up in Westchester, where did you guys go to hear music?
Well, there was one legendary place in Mamaroneck back in the day, and that was the Canada Lounge. And they had a tremendous band called the Orchids. And I'll let Ted Already take it from there.
Good band, huh?
Very good band. They
Yeah.
were led by a guitar player that is rather legendary. He's
Huh.
not well known, but he taught a lot of people. He influenced a lot of people, and it was a R&B horn band.
Right.
And that Westchester was full of horn bands, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Even well into the '60s,
Right.
it
And 70s, yeah.
and into
Yeah.
the '70s, yeah.
Yeah.
And even when a lot of soul bands, we went to school with guys that were in bands,
Yeah.
and there were a couple of real.
Did they hang out at the barn too? That infamous
I think everybody came
Yeah.
through the barn once in a
in
while,
Rhinebeck,
yeah.
right?
But,
Right.
but the place where everybody congregated to hear great musicians play was the Canada Lounge.
Yeah.
That was
Wow.
really a legendary place in its time because that's where everybody congregated who knew other guys that were playing there, so they'd go
Fun.
there. And the bands that they had there, the Orchids being one of them, they had the Orchids, the Royal Jacks, the Furies. All those bands were all interconnected in ways because who would leave one band and join another band, and
Right.
and they played there for years, all those bands, and they were such great musicians in those bands that they kept influencing more and more the generations that came or the guys that came behind them.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things where one person would learn from another person, would learn from another person,
Right.
and on it went
Right.
right up until its demise, so to speak, and went
Yeah.
out of business.
Well, learning from others, and I think, do you guys feel it's important to leave a legacy with what you're doing and creating now?
Absolutely.
I think
You
so.
know, nice
I
image. You have a
think
nice image, and you play great music, right?
We're sort of
Yeah.
becoming our own legacy.
Who knows who you're influencing? You could be influencing everybody every time you go out there,
Exactly.
right?
Well,
So
it's kind of strange because this music originated in the '60s, and then the Blues Brothers, I guess, brought it back, a decade or so later.
Yeah.
But now it seems like every commercial you hear somehow goes back
Yeah.
to this time period, or even the shows on Broadway. They're
Right.
picking Motown. They're picking all this
Yeah.
stuff up
Yeah.
again. So actually, I think we're very current.
yeah, and being somewhat in the advertising world, there's a reason why they're playing that music. Number one, it's appealing to us, and they want to sell the products, but also it's great music. I mean,
Absolutely.
I really personally, my taste for music is very broad, but I couldn't tell you who's a modern pop star out there. I prefer listening to the 60s, and 50s, 60s, and 70s music,
Yep.
and some 80s.
It's become the new classic music.
Yeah,
It really
it
has.
is, and it's wonderful.
And it's good dance music. It always was.
It is, and quality music too. So, you guys, who else is in your band? You four are here, and how many do you have in total?
Right.
9.
It's
Wow.
a 9-piece band.
Yeah.
And I'll introduce the bass player, Walter Roberts. We called him Walter Mr. Pitiful Roberts. Absolutely terrific.
Wow.
He really has a driving bass sound. And he's played for years, and it just comes
Cool.
so naturally to him. And he really brings out a good audience, too.
That's great.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, our other horn players are Matt Huntington, who plays baritone. He's our new baritone player. We've acquired him in the last couple of months. Excellent player, really, really good, solid performer.
Mm-hmm.
And our trumpet player is Dominic Piro, who's from Portchester,
Mm-hmm.
also another excellent player. And that kind of rounds out the horn section with Lenny and I playing tenor.
And I want to give a shout out to our guitarist, Mike Andrews.
Mike Andrews,
And
Who's
another local guy.
great.
blistering solos.
Yes. Ah, very cool.
We have to
Absolutely.
control him.
Blisters on my fingers.
He likes the
Absolutely.
distortion, or oh
Yeah.
No, we're getting him away from the distortion. It's got to be cleaner, brighter sound.
Now, who influenced you with your music, your singing?
Yeah, to me, I got to put him up there. Donny Hathaway. Do you remember that guy?
Wow.
Because I grew up in the 70s, and you know, we talked earlier about how the '60s music that we play is classic and raw, and its simplicity is what makes it wonderful. But I grew up with music that was, you know, they started bringing the strings, and production now was, they were piling on all those tracks.
Tracks on top
but
of tracks.
Donny Hathaway,
Wow.
the great soul singer who died tragically young, but to this day gives me chills.
And of course, we have a new keyboard player too, Randy Sarnow, who's just out of this world.
Wow.
Randy's terrific.
No kidding.
He
Played
really
with a
picked
lot
this
of-
stuff up quickly, and he has a tremendous amount of experience.
Yeah, played with a lot of big names.
And we're here with SouldAgain. Their upcoming shows, folks. June 6th, they're at the Halstead Bar and Grill in Harrison, just off of Halstead Avenue. And June 11th, they're at Cafe Mozart in Mamaroneck. It's right next to Sal's Pizza, which is a hot spot. But they're playing outdoors on Mamaroneck Avenue, which is great.
And that's just a wonderful venue. You've got to give thanks to the owner, Dawn. Dawn actually ran in the Olympics. He was the fastest man in Asia, they called him.
Wow.
But Cafe Mozart, great place. And what he does is that every week he brings a band in.
Yeah.
And I just think that's wonderful. So he
Right.
deserves a lot of credit for that. So we always look forward to playing there.
And this time of year, it's wonderful playing outside. And
Best.
It's a nice
you know,
venue.
especially on Mamaroneck Avenue. You just, folks, when you're walking by on the sidewalk, just don't get hit with a baritone horn there, you know. But
Yeah, you'll
you
feel
can
that.
you can dance with the
A lot
band.
of flying notes. That's about it.
It's great. And then on June 13th, you're at Fulgham's
Yes.
in Montrose, going up the line, up the Hudson a little bit,
That's a new one for
and
us.
that should be fun. June 19th, you're at Chat 19 in Larchmont, which has great food, great drinks, and great ambiance. And they clear out their dance floor, their tables too, and you
They
can
open
dance
it
a
up,
little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
You guys sit up in the back against the
Nope,
wall.
Right up front.
Right up front.
Oh, right up
Window.
front,
Yeah.
by the
Right up
bar.
front as you
Yep.
walk in.
Oh, that's great.
I'm up against the glass.
And I remember after we played the first night, I spoke to the person in charge, and he said, Anthony, he said, you know, you guys are great musicians. We love having you here.
Oh,
When can
that's
you come
great.
back? So
That's
we're going to
great.
be there like 2 or 3 more times before the end of the year.
Terrific.
So we look forward to playing there. I mean, their food is great, and they really support live music too. So that's a wonderful venue.
Well, guys, we really appreciate you coming in. We're with the local R&B band SouldAgain, also Soul. You call yourself Soul.
Yep.
SouldAgain. We had,
Ted Blechter.
Len Talevy.
Ed Fursey.
Paul Curran.
I thought you were Phil Collins. Anyway, they are June
Tomorrow.
6th at tonight at Halstead's Bar and Grill, and we really appreciate you coming in and spending time with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Thanks.
right,
Pleasure.
we're going to take
Great.
a break. You're listening to Westchester Now on WFAS.